Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. Tonight's nightcap, unfortunately, there's no Iona, there's no Emmy. You basically just got me. Talking about Iona, the Teespring t-shirt campaign that we did last week was a great success. I made a mistake. I was only on for 4 days instead of the 14 days I wanted, but it still made its target, no problem. And there was actually orders still coming in after the deadline, so Teespring started up again for us. So that was a fantastic success. Anybody that's bought a t-shirt, thanks very much. It will go a long way to supporting me and the shop, as well as getting us to America next year. I intend doing another one. Instead of the double boost, it'll be Twisted Engineering. Same sort of t-shirt, same sort of logo. That's in the pipeline. It'll be a month or two before we get that finalised and get that done. So once again, if you bought a t-shirt, thanks very much. Debs is doing well. She's improving all the time. She's still got aches and pains, but she's certainly getting better as time goes by. She's starting to put a few more hours in now at work. She enjoys work. She enjoys interacting with people, and the sort of work she does in a restaurant, she gets plenty opportunity to do that. So things are looking good on that front. In tonight's nightcap, after the soaking I got with the white water last weekend, I cleaned the white water tank out and put some fresh water in. The stuff I use, it's got an antibacterial agent in it, because you can get nasty diseases, dermatitis, etc. from white water. So it's something you want to be careful of. It's not good stuff, it's not good for you, especially when it gets old. So we'll do a little bit on white water. I do a milling job. I cut a kiwi into a pulley for a lad. That's quite interesting, because I have to make an adapter to allow the tool to work. I've had quite a few comments regarding the cooling system I use on the lathe and the milling machine. This is the system I use for both machines. It's a 3-phase cooling pump that came with the lathe, running on 240 volt with a capacitor single phase. And I use a single reservoir which is fed. That's a pipe from the mill and that's a pipe from the lathe. I've got a pipe out the back from the pump, which has got a PCL connector on, so it can feed either the milling machine or the lathe. Obviously not both at the same time, but I don't use both at the same time. It's time to change the coolant in here now. It's getting a little bit horrible. I'll pump the tank dry, pull it out and show you exactly what's inside there. This is the pipe that comes up from the pump. PCL connector, so it connects onto this or the lathe. I've just got a flexi with a little valve on. We'll just let the pump run, pump the tank empty. This is the inside of the box. As you can see, it's not very pleasant. What's left of the coolant. This is like emulsified oil, because obviously I do use oil on the mill as well, and oil on the lathe, and it gets washed away into here. That's the pump. It's a modern pump. It's actually a plastic one. It used to be metal and it used to corrode away, but this is metal. This is plastic. It just doesn't corrode, doesn't give any problems. I'm going to wash this out and put some real coolant into it. Right, that's a lot better. This is the oil I use for my white water. I'm not sure what it is or what make it is. A friend got us a little bit from work, and it's what they use in a SNNC machine, which costs basically more than my house. So I'm sure it's going to be good enough for what I do. I know one thing, it does not form any corrosion. It actually takes rust off the machinery. There's, you can run it at 50 to 1. We'll call that 1, we'll put 50 in, and that's what 50 to 1 mixture. You can feel it's got an oily feel about it. little bit more oil. Not exactly rocket science. It's nice and oily. This stuff's got a nice smell as well. The old-fashioned white water used to stink, it was horrible. It's got chemicals in to stop fungus and bugs growing. Used to get some horrible things growing in coolant water. Used to cause dermatitis and all kinds of nasty things. So that's me little self-contained coolant pump. That's the capacitor that runs the extra phase on the 3-phase motor. Here we've now got some nice clean coolant. And put it back into the tank. That's a drain for the mill straight into the tank. Piece of wood, something lies over there, and that stops any swarf from going down, landing on top of the pump. It's also a handy place to keep me these bed protectors. I did a video last week. I was actually making some push tools for Keith Fenner's toolbox, and I used these bearings that I bought off eBay. I mean, they were cheap. But honestly, if you watch the video, they are so much shite, it's unbelievable. Anyway, since then, there's one lad called Peter W. He sent us in some packets of assorted bearings, which are ideal for the job. These are real bearings, they're old ones, old English ones. They'll not squash flat in the vise. Anyway, Peter, thanks very much. I'll certainly put them to good use. These are the bearings Peter sent us. These ones aren't shielded, but they'll still do the job. That one there is perfect size for what I need, and they'll also make nice little edge finders and pushy tools for the lathe. Thanks once again, Peter. I'll certainly be able to put them to good use. There's also one of that two lads have promised to send us some bearings, which is great. There's also another lad asked us if I would like some Morse taper drills. He's clearing his shop out and he had a lot of old Morse taper drills. Well, basically that's one or two biggish ones like this. There's also quite a lot of small ones. I can certainly use the small ones, and I've got a friend who will be able to use big drills and adapters like that. So they will be put to good use. They were just going to go in a skip, which is a great shame. There's another item came in the post, that's this milling cutter. I've seen the one before, the taper on it, and I'm not quite sure what it's used for. It's got some writing on it. 3/16. If anybody can tell us what you would use a milling cutter like that for, it's obviously got a ball end on it, but I don't know why it would be tapered unless it's just tapered like that for strength. Anyway, it'd be interesting to find out what its real use is. And last but not least, thanks very much to Andrew for the selection of big drills. That one's 2.5 inch and 7/8, inch and 3/8, inch and 5/16. I've got just a person who'll use these drills. He's got a big radial arm driller and he puts big holes in things. A few weeks ago I was given a box of old tools, some old micrometers and drills and reamers and whatnot, and one of the things I found was this. It's a very early form of indicator. I'll try and get a closer look at it. You can see that there. It's got it on the bottom, made in England. There's like a part number on the top, and on the other side it says the unique. There's a little button there, you press the little button and you can see the needle on the right moving in and out. I'm going to mount it onto a tool post and put something in the lathe and just see if I can make it work, to see how accurate it is. I've clamped a little bit of bar into the back of it. I've got something in the 3-jaw chuck. You can see it's certainly moving. That's going to be accurate, that's going to be, it'll do what you need it to do. I'll put a modern clock gauge on and see if I can work out what sort of, if the little calibrations mean anything. I think they're probably thousandths of an inch. Right, I've got my best clock gauge set up. Both at 0. That's showing 7 thou, and that's 5 division 6, 7, so they are thousandths of an inch. What I'll do, I'll try and set this up running true using that pointer type indicator, and then I'll check it with me clock gauge and see how good it actually is. It's getting very near. It's not really a perfectly smooth surface on the piece of aluminium either. We'll probably settle for that. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll settle for that. That's as good as I'm going to get with a rough finish on a bit of metal like that. Yeah, it just goes to show that something as simple and old as that, it's just as accurate as a modern day dial gauge. I mentioned earlier that even though I only had the t-shirt campaign running for 4 days instead of the 14 I wanted, it made its target no problem at all. So much so that Teespring actually started it again for us, and it run for 5 days, and it's actually still got several hours more to run from now. I'll put a link to the actual Teespring sale in the little description box at the bottom of the video. So if you didn't get a chance last week and you wanted one of the Double Boost t-shirts, now's your chance to buy one. Thanks very much.